Hey guys, this is Eric Jones with Lost Art Magic, and today I'd like to share something with you that's very near and dear to my heart. Almost a decade ago, I produced a routine called Mirage et Toi, where coins appear, they vanish, and transpose in the most visual ways possible. But I noticed that as I grew in magic, so did this routine. I've changed it, streamlined it, so that it gets even better reactions than the original did, without having to do any extra work, really. So what I'd like to do today is share with you not only the original, but all of the new work that goes into this routine. We call it Mirage et Toi 2.0. I really think you're going to dig it. So several years ago, I had the good fortune of meeting two people that have been integral in my development in magic. One was a guy who worked at Murphy's Magic at the time. His name was Tim Trano. The other guy was Cosmo from Cosmo Magic. And we produced a trick called Mirage et Toi, which was the prelude to a DVD set that Cosmo and I put out called An Extension of Me. What Mirage et Toi was a single routine that I called the Spectator's Visible Coins Across, which was the middle phase to this complete coin act that I called Mirage et Toi. I also had a thing called, it was called KKK, which means it's the three clan vanish, which was my handling of a trick by my friend Rune Klein. And then on the spot, I came up with a production of 3 coins, which allowed it to be a complete coin act, right? It came out several years ago, and it got pretty good reviews. A lot of working magicians ended up including it in their working repertoires, and I had a lot of success with it continuing, even though it was out, performing it for a lot of really cool people, and it opened up a lot of doors for me, just a simple coin routine. But as time progressed, the interesting thing is, because I listen to my audience, sometimes they not just what they say, but where they look, their eyes can be so telling. I found that there were certain things that I could change about the routine to make it better. You'll notice a lot of the changes, especially if you own the original Mirage et Toi. You'll see a lot of different things that aren't included there. For instance, I noticed that in the original, I just make those last 3 coins vanish, you end up dirty. So you end up holding out 3 coins. Here, at the end of the vanish sequence, I've got a really cool production of the 3 coins, a flash production of the 3 coins, just as a simple example. We'll get into the meat of that later, but I did want you to know that for those who may not know, this is a routine that was published, but there's so much new stuff. We're going to tackle things like, for instance, there's a technique called the JW grip, which we'll get into in depth. And a lot of people think that this is an angly move. I'm going to show you ways to make sure that before you perform the routine, you know exactly where to position yourself as opposed to where your audience is, so that you can get the best reaction. Like I said, we're going to get into all the meat of that. I just wanted you to know a little bit of the history before we got started. But let's go on into the next thing. So what you're about to see now is an amended or streamlined version of the original Mirage et Toi. I've gotten rid of the initial phase, which I used to call Out with 3, which was a quote-unquote comedy production of 3 coins. Now, the reason I got rid of that is because the more I performed it, the more I felt as if it wasn't a true part of this routine. It felt like it was a separate entity, and it didn't really it didn't mesh well with the rest of the routine. So I've omitted it not only from my repertoire, but from this production as well. But I would like to show you what the rest of the original routine looked like. It required 3 pieces of silver. All you have to do is keep your eyes on the 3 coins and watch as they travel from the fingertips here to here without you seeing it go. And I'm going to get rid of this one for just a moment and tell you that what happened before is you were watching me instead of watching the coins. But if you keep your eyes on this one, it improves your opportunity to see how the trick works. If you watch it, you'll see the moment, the second, the very instant the next coin flies from your left to your right, and I'll get rid of this one as well. But I've got to be honest, this one is my favorite because it travels in really weird ways. For instance, it can go up the arm or it can go down the fingers. And if I'm lucky, if I'm really lucky, I can get the coin to jump from the fingertips here to here to here and back. And that's a trick with 1, 2, and 3 pieces of silver. Now, I'll be honest with you. What you're about to see now is my girlfriend's least favorite part. It's when the money vanishes. If you watch, I'll take the first coin, give it a little squeeze, and if I crumble, it makes it appear as if the coin becomes lighter than air. That way it can hang in the air. I'll try it again with this little guy. So if you watch there, if I give a little squeeze, it too can hang. Oops, I apologize. That leaves 1 left to go, right about here. If I give that one a squeeze, that's all 3 coins having traveled from place to place, now hanging in the air. That way I can save them for later. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the performance of Mirage et Toi. The interesting thing about what we're about to discuss is that I've really streamlined the routine. And the way I did that is by getting rid of that first phase. For those who have the DVD, you remember it was called Out with 3. It was a quote-unquote comedy production of 3 coins that I just didn't feel fit this particular routine. It changed. There was a character shift. I started off by being kind of quirky. 1 coin would vanish as I tried to produce a third. 1 coin would vanish from here, and it just didn't fit the rest of the routine. Now that's not to say it doesn't have its merit. It just didn't belong in Mirage et Toi. Now that means that the new routine, or even the 1.0, I guess you want to call it, the old version, is now just 2 phases. The spectator's visible coins across, and then the 3 clan vanish. Now, with that being said, in order to perform the routine, all you need are 4 coins that match. Now, it doesn't make a difference whether they're half dollars, if they're silver dollars, if they're quarters, in fact. In fact, when I'm doing this out in the real world, I simply carry 1 quarter with me, and I'll borrow 3 quarters from the audience. I do the spectator's visible coins across using that 1 extra coin. Then I make the coins vanish, and then I bring them back using the 3 clan vanish, and then I give them their money back, leaving me with 1 coin locked away in my pocket. So depending on your working situations, you can perform this routine extremely easily. So again, 4 coins that match. Now I'm left-handed. The way I usually begin is all 4 coins start in my left pocket. If you're right-handed, just do the adverse. Place them into your right pocket. At an opportune moment, you'll reach into your pocket. You'll pull out all 4 coins with the fingers curled in. You'll jingle the coins so your audience can hear that you have money, but they can't see how many pieces of silver you have. The first move is designed to make it appear as if you're showing the 3 coins and a fan, while at the same time concealing 1 away. Now the way this works is I'm going to use a move called the palm up Benzeus friction palm. What happens in this instance is I'm going to keep the hand palm up with the other hand awaiting just underneath. And I'm going to tilt the hand at the wrist and the forearm so that the pinky goes towards the floor, the index finger side of the hand goes up, so it changes the angle like so. As this happens, you'll notice how those top 3 coins will cascade into the other hand, leaving the lowermost coin there. This is because of friction. You don't have to tilt it all the way down, just enough to allow the top 3 coins to go. Now you'll notice I'm not using my pinky as a ledge, and I'm not curling the fingers in on the coin. Just allow gravity to do its thing. Friction will keep that lowermost coin there. Now the way this move used to be accomplished is with the hand palm down with the coins at fingertip rest. What you would do is leave the coins at fingertip rest, aided by the thumb, and you would toss the coins into the other hand. Again, that lowermost coin would adhere because of friction. But there are 2 inherent problems with this. The first problem is that the coins are visible from both sides of the hand, both the thumb hold and the pinky side of the hand. The second problem is once the coin has been transferred, once you need to transfer the coin into finger palm or classic palm, you have to maneuver the coin up into finger palm or up into the classic palm, so you lose economy of motion. It also kind of telegraphs the sight a little bit. However, just by jingling the coins and doing the friction palm, there's no tension in the shoulders. There's no indication that you could be hiding anything in the hand the coin started off in. And then from this point, with the hands palm up, all you have to do is spread the 3 coins in a very specific grip. Now you'll notice how the uppermost coin is closest to me. The lowermost coin is furthest away. I'm holding the uppermost coin with only my thumb. My index finger holds only the middle coin, and the middle coin is held only by, my middle finger holds only the lowermost coin. So thumb, index, middle, top, middle, bottom. Now the reason you're doing it this way is because in a moment, I'm going to ask you to pull that uppermost coin down and at a diagonal towards the palm of the hand. If you pull the coin in any other direction with any other combination of the fingers, you stand a chance of moving more than 1 coin at a time. But if you place individual fingers on these coins, you're able to move the coins independently of the other 2, which is advantageous for a sleight that we're going to do in just a few moments. So remember, you've got 3 coins at the fingertips of your left hand if you're right-handed, and at the fingertips of my right hand because I'm left-handed. Now what I'm going to do is place these 3 coins at the fingertips of the hand holding out in that same grip. Thumb, index, middle, top, middle, bottom. Now what I'll do is I'll perform each sequence. I'll explain it and then I'll do it again. That way you can see the timing. The idea is that one at a time, you'll see the 3 coins as they fly from the fingertips here to the fingertips here without you seeing it go. Now, here's what happens. What you'll do is you'll notice how I'm looking at the 3 coins with my eyes. I then show my right hand, your left hand, empty. And I'm going to follow the 3 coins with my eyes as I transfer the coins to my right hand, thumb, index, middle, and then I separate the hands while still watching the 3 coins with my eyes. Then I'll turn my head and my eyes to my left, and I'll look to an area in space here where I'll produce this coin in one of 2 ways, depending on if I have moist or dry hands. If I have dry hands, I'll place my thumb on the coin and I'll push the coin towards the fingertips as the fingertips curl back to expose the coin. So kind of like this. Now you'll notice what's going on here is the coin is sticking. And the reason the coin is sticking is because I naturally have very moist hands. So when I try to push the coin towards the fingertips, you'll see how it gets stuck. So in my instance, what I have to do is allow gravity to do the work for me. What I mean by that is I'll place my thumb on the coin, I'll tilt my hand at the wrist towards myself, and allow the coin to rest momentarily on the pad of the thumb. As that happens, the fingertips will curl back to expose the coin. I'll trap the coin between the fingertips and the thumb, and then I'll turn the hand at the wrist to reveal it. So what happens is the coin will stick to the pad of the thumb vertically because of inertia. Inertia does all of the work for you. Oops, like so. Now, regardless of which way you produce the coin, you'll produce this coin with the hands shoulder width apart at chest height. So for all of a few moments, you'll notice that 4 coins are in view. So a couple of things are going to happen back to back. This coin comes up to shoulder level as you produce it. At the same time, you're going to bring this hand down to just about the top of your sternum. So from here, the bottom of your sternum to about here. As you do so, this coin is going to get pulled back and down at a diagonal towards the palm of the hand. So at a diagonal this way. Now, the reason I say it has to go at a diagonal is because if you go straight across, you stand a chance of flashing from above. If you go straight down, you could flash either at the fan here or along the bottom edge of the fan just here. But if it goes at a diagonal, as long as you keep these fingers closed, there's no chance that your audience will see the coin hidden behind. Now, when you put those actions together, you'll notice one at a time, you can see the 3 coins as they fly from the fingertips here to the fingertips here without you seeing it go. Now what I'm doing is I'm using these larger actions. I'm drawing your attention from place to place. So I'm not misdirecting your attention. I'm constantly redirecting your attention. The head, your eyes will look where I look. So I'm looking at 3 coins. You, of course, will look at the 3 coins. Now I'm going to show you the empty hand, and because I'm not looking at it, you're either going to subconsciously register it or your eyes are going to dart over, see the empty hand, and then go back to the 3 coins. Now, because I'm following the 3 coins with my eyes because they are the point of focus, your eyes will do the same. Now, with the hands shoulder width apart, I'll produce this coin as I come up to look at you because I'll be watching your eyes to determine how the next part goes. Now, if you're one of those people who act like a layman does, you're going to naturally be drawn to this coin. If I see your eyes dart over, the second I do, I can pull this coin down. And that's going to be dependent of whether I start here and I drop, or if I decide I want to leave the coin here. Because if you're performing for only a few people, you can keep the hands right where they are and simply pull this coin down because you've got all the time in the world. I'll give you an example of that in just a moment. But again, keep in mind you've got the coin here and you pull down. So as they're watching here, you've redirected their attention here and you simply pull down, and then you bring your attention back to the coins and come back up. Okay, so once one coin has traveled across, now I've noticed in a lot of three-fly routines that there are 3 coins, 2 hands, you do a hell of a lot of talking. So I found that by placing the coins down, either into a spectator's hand or into your pocket or onto your receptacle, it makes things easier for your audience to follow as far as what the effect is, but it also makes things a lot easier for you as the magician because you end up with less objects to manipulate. So, quick position check. If you're following along, you should have 2 coins at the fingertips of your left hand if you're right-handed, and I'm holding 2 coins at the fingertips of my right. My index finger contacts the uppermost coin of the fan. My middle finger contacts the lowermost coin of the fan, and the thumb hides a coin from behind, like so. Now, the next move is designed to make it appear as if you're simply showing the coins individually before placing them back together to continue with the routine. And what that does is it gets you 1 ahead. Now, the way that works is I'm going to place my index and my middle finger along the bottom and the top visible coin. My right thumb will push the hidden coin over so that my left thumb can overtake, grabbing both the hidden and this uppermost visible coin. And when this right hand grabs the lowermost coin and the hands separate, they should mirror one another. But from the front, it should just look as if you're taking the top coin, showing the coins individually, and then you place them back together, placing the uppermost coin back into its original position. Your thumb reaches up to grab the uppermost coin, and then you finger palm the hidden coin. Now, what I like to do now is go over a technique that was first in print in my mentor's 4th book. My mentor was Woody Landers. His mentor was a guy named Horace Bennett. And what you're about to see now was published first in a book called Bennett's 4th. It's called the JW grip, or the Jimmy Wilson grip. And it looks like this. To get the coin into this position, what you're going to end up doing is starting with the coin in your finger palm, in your dominant hand. You want to curl the fingers in on the coin so that when you turn the hand palm down, the coin doesn't fall to the floor. So that's finger palm. You place your thumb on the coin so that you're gripping it by both the inside of the fingers and the pad of the thumb. You turn the hand palm down, allowing the coin to become parallel to the floor and the ceiling, and you extend all 4 fingers as a unit. Now you'll notice if you were to lift those 4 fingers, the coin should stick there on the pad of the thumb. You'll use this to your advantage by pushing the coin right along the base of the fingers towards the index finger side of the hand so that the coin is exposed from the back of the hand about halfway. What you do from this point is you curl the index finger in on the coin, gripping it by the pad of the index finger and the base of the index finger. And because we use different size coins, you'll have to find the space that works best for you. Because we have different size hands, we use different size coins. But once you find it, again, keep the coin parallel to the floor and the ceiling. That way your thumb can let go. And from the front, this is what your audience would see. They would be able to see this exposed edge of the coin. To keep that from happening, you extend your middle finger so that this edge is now concealed by the inside of the middle finger, like so. To keep the coin from being seen from above, you want to naturally curl and taper your ring and pinky finger to aid in the illusion, to keep the coin from being seen from above. And then the middle finger and the thumb create the letter C. This is JW grip. Now, to produce the coin from this position, you essentially reverse the actions. You'll place your thumb back on the coin. You'll extend all 4 fingers as a unit, and then 3 things will happen in quick succession. Your thumb will push the coin towards the fingertips. At the same time, the fingertips will curl back to expose the coin. Then you turn the hand at the wrist to reveal it. So from the front, from finger palm, into the JW grip, than the production of the coin. Now I've got to be honest. For more than 2 or 3 seconds, this kind of looks weird. Kind of looks like a gang sign, right? So there are ways to make it seem more natural. For instance, you can adjust your glasses, or you can pull back the sleeve, or as my friend Shitagawa does, you can hold the hand in a loose fist close to your chest as you do something with the other hands just before engaging into the JW. I'd also like to give you a very practical exercise that you can use immediately to practice JW grip. A few years ago, I had the rare opportunity to perform for some deaf children, and their teacher wanted me to teach them an effect that they could all go home and do for their friends and family. In American Sign Language, this is the letter C, the letter O, the letter I, the letter N, which spells coin. So, just using JW grip, you place the coin into JW grip, that's the letter C. Then if you allow your middle finger and ring finger to contact the thumb, that's the letter O in sign language. Then if you close the hand into a fist and extend the pinky, that's the letter I. And then if you close the hand into a fist and then place your thumb between the middle and the ring finger, that's the letter N. So you'll notice the coin never changes position. It doesn't change position until you're ready to produce the coin. You do that by pulling the thumb out, squeezing the coin into the hand, turning the hand palm up, and opening. So again, from the front, C-O-I-N spells coin. So that's just a couple of things that I wanted to discuss with you about JW grip itself. But putting this back into a context, remember, just a moment ago, you transferred one coin into finger palm in your right hand, my left, while still holding 2 coins at the fingertips of the other hand. At an opportune moment, you will engage into the JW grip, and the hands are going to alternate up and down as if beating a drum. When the middle finger and the thumb touch here, you'll produce this coin from JW grip the way I just described. At the same time, you're going to pull this coin down at a diagonal and out of view towards the palm of the other hand. So up to speed, as the hands alternate back and forth, you're able to cause one coin to travel from hand to hand. Now, as far as the little wave thing, I noticed that there's a little illusion that you can do with a pen or a pencil, where if you wave it like this, it creates the illusion of them being like it's waving. I wanted to do the same kind of a thing with my fingers. All that happens is the middle finger and the thumb move. I'm kind of double jointed in my thumb. I have what they call golfer's thumb. So I'm able to move my thumb downward like this. So by allowing my middle finger to curl downward as I do my golfer's thing on the way up, then I reverse the action. I extend my middle finger and then pull the thumb up as I go down. So it looks like a wave. Now, it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. It will still look good if you just bring the hand up and down like this, but this is an added flair. And just, all the little nuances that make the entire routine great, right? But here's something I want you to try. Right after you learn this, I want you to stop the video. I want you to go find the first person you can perform this for and do this. Show the 2 coins, show the hand empty, but start with the coins in the hand that's holding out. Show that hand empty, draw the coins to the fingertips here, transfer this coin into JW grip. I guarantee you what's going to happen is your audience is going to look at the 2 coins, see an empty hand, and when they see this, they're going to look at the hand and they're going to focus all of their attention back on those 2 coins. The reason is because this hand truly looks empty. So when you do this move and you cause one coin to travel from one hand to the other, it's one of those things I like to call a WTF moment. A lay audience has no way to backtrack to figure out what could have happened because for all intents and purposes, you really just showed both hands empty. Other than the 2 coins that are being displayed, and with the hands just inches apart, we're able to cause one coin to cleanly, visibly travel from one place to the other. It's inexplicable. It will make their brains explode. Now let's think about the entire routine up until this point, because there's a design to the entire thing. The first move in the routine, the first coin traveling from place to place, is designed to get your audience to pay closer attention, to coerce them to pay closer attention. Now that you have them, they're going to try to catch you out. They're going to try to see if they can figure out what's causing these coins to travel across. So the second coin needs to be as clean as possible. I think you give them that with that second phase. Again, they see both hands empty and still one coin is able to travel across. Now what you want to do is indicate the conclusion of the 3 fly with what I consider to be fireworks. So getting a little bit ahead of myself, you've just caused one coin to travel from place to place. Again, you're going to place this coin aside or into your spectator's hand, depending on which version of the routine you're doing. And you're left with one coin visible at the fingertips, one coin hidden behind. Now what I'd like to do is teach you 2 flourishes, which will help build the fireworks that will help conclude the routine. So now I'd like to give you 2 flourishes that you can perform that aren't as difficult as they look. Here's the first one. It's called the arm roll. Looks like this. In order to perform this, all you need to be able to do are 2 actions. The first action is of holding the coin in spellbound position, which means that you have your hand palm up, your thumb is extended, you want to curl the hand in so it creates the letter C. You're then going to place the coin so you're gripping it by the edges with the fingers on one side, the thumb on the other, so that either the head or the tail is facing your audience. That's spellbound position. Now what you want to do is extend your arm directly in front of you, turn the hand at the wrist, cocking it in so that instead of looking at either the head or the tail, you're looking at the edge of the coin. From this point, you're going to toss the coin into the air by spinning the coin towards yourself, which means you're spinning it this way by turning the forearm and the wrist like so. Now the coin has to go straight up and down. It can't wobble as it does. It needs to go straight up and down like this. So I encourage you to do that a couple of times now. So as you toss the coin up, you catch it. That's the first action. So it's not very difficult. But the second action is slightly more difficult, but even once you try it a few times, you'll get the hang of it. Now, I'll do the action in slow motion with the other hand as an aid. You're going to keep the elbow bent slightly. And you want to toss the coin into the air towards the crotch of the elbow. Now, just before it hits the elbow, you want to extend the arm sharply, propelling the coin back into the air towards the hand, and you catch it. If you've ever played baseball or softball, you may recall doing something like this. All right? So that's the second action. Now what's going to happen is you'll combine those 2 actions so that when you toss the coin into the air, it then will roll down the forearm, and just before it hits the crotch of the elbow, you extend the arm sharply to propel the object back into the air, which looks like this. Now you'll notice that I have 2 things that most people, that most people would consider a hindrance. I'm wearing a watch and I'm wearing sleeves. Neither of them is a problem. It can hit the watch and it'll continue rolling. It can hit the long sleeves and can continue rolling. It won't matter if I'm wearing a sweater, a cardigan, a sweat jacket, a suit jacket, a blazer. The only people who will have trouble with this technique are those people who have really hairy arms, because what happens is that hair will cause the coin to slide from side to side. And if you don't mind suffering for your art, what I suggest doing is taking a razor and just cutting a landing strip right down the middle. It'll work just fine. So that's the first technique. That's called the arm roll. The second thing, if you've never learned it before, it's called the steeplechase or the coin roll, which looks like this. Now, in order to perform this, you start with the coin in your dominant hand and finger palm. You curl the fingers in on the coin, turn the hand palm down, and then place the thumb against the coin like we did before when we were learning JW grip. And extend all 4 fingers as we did before. You want to then allow the coin to rest on the pad of the thumb, just as before. But where we differ is instead of just pushing the coin towards the index finger side of the hand, you want to trap the coin vertically between the side of the index finger and the thumb. Now, when most people tell you when you're trying to learn the coin roll, they ask you to keep the fingers extended. I found over the years that it's counterproductive to keep those fingers extended. You should curl the fingers in. It gives you better control over your individual digits. So, the first step that's going to happen is you're going to push up on the coin and release it, allowing it to rest on the index finger, curled index finger knuckle, and it just rests horizontal, parallel to the floor and the ceiling. Now you'll separate the index and the middle finger knuckle, lift the middle finger knuckle higher than the coin so that when you squeeze those 2 fingers together, you trap the coin vertically between the 2. From this point, you're going to push up and release with the index finger, allowing the coin to then rest on the middle finger knuckle. Then you lather, rinse, and repeat by doing the same thing with the middle and the ring finger, trapping the coin, then pushing up and releasing with the ring finger so the coin rests on the ring finger. Now you're going to change the procedure slightly when you get down to the ring and the pinky finger. From this point, you want to open the hand, lift the pinky finger higher than the coin, reach over, squeeze the pinky and the ring finger together as you open the hand flat. You'll notice that about half of the coin should stick out right at the base between the ring and the pinky finger. You'll place the pad of the thumb against the base of the pinky. Squeeze the side of the thumb against the ring finger as you trap the coin between the pad of the thumb and the ring finger. That way your pinky can go back on top. And what that does is it puts you right back at your starting position. That way you can continue practicing until you gain speed and proficiency. Now, I encourage you to practice this over your bed, or while sitting down, practice it over your lap, or while driving in both hands and use your knee. We might get a few more accidents by doing that, but, suffering for your art, right? So not only will you gain proficiency by performing the actions I just told you, you can gain speed by allowing the pinky side to go towards the floor, the index finger up a little higher. Gravity will allow the coin to tumble over a little bit faster so that you have to do less finger motion to cause the coin to go from finger to finger, like so. Once you gain that speed, simply by reversing the actions, so you get down between the pinky and the ring finger, by changing the angle, by lifting the pinky, lowering the index finger side of the hand, you can reverse the actions to cause the coin to go back. Once you can go forward and back, you can also do the same actions to go on the inside of the hand. So the question from this point is, why am I teaching you these two flourishes in the context of this routine? Well, you have one coin that's visible to your audience. You have one that's hidden away. So I want to create a scene that gets them to look at the coins so that when I do a move, it goes by undetected. That move belongs to my friend Kainoa Harbottle. It's a steeplechase shuttle pass. As I complete the coin roll here, I'm simply going to draw it into the hand the way I taught you just a moment ago. Extend the fingers, place my thumb in, wrap around, place it back in the finger palm. With the other hand, I've got the one coin in finger palm. All I do is bring that hand directly in front of the area where the coin just was seen, turn the hand palm up, toss it into the air. So exposed view, I shuttle the coin down, bring this hand in front, draw this coin in the finger palm, display this coin from finger palm, toss it into the air. Up to speed, it looks like I'm showing you the same coin. What I'd like to do now is show you my handling of the late Jeffrey Lotta's final sequence from a trick he called a trick with 3 coins from his lecture notes called 7 the Hard Way. What he would do is hold a coin at the fingertips, push it down one sleeve, down the other sleeve, and it would jump to the fingertips of the other hand, which was an amazingly beautiful piece of magic. I performed it just the way it was written for years, even though I didn't use the the downs palm that he used. And I should also mention that a trick with 3 coins is one of my favorite pieces of coin magic on the planet, other than Mirage Etoile. But so what I did was I changed the aesthetic because as I performed for the audience, I could see them getting ahead of me at the second and the third phase. So I wanted to see if I could get around that by changing the illusion, by creating the illusion of animation. So rather than this pushing and pulling kind of a thing, I wanted the illusion of animation to make it appear as if a coin held at the fingertips instantly vanishes to appear elsewhere. We see this in the literature by Troy Hooser. He has a trick called the redirection coins across, where everything happens in a linear fashion. So this is reminiscent of that. It's also reminiscent of the same timing used by my friend Mickey Silver. He has a thing where he's able to push coins through his head, kind of like using the delights, and through his body and through other various places. So it has the timing and the feel of those two, even though it's completely different in both method and aesthetic. So you start up with a coin at the fingertips, and you jump, the coin jumps from here to here and then over. So in order to perform the sequence, all you need are 2 very simple components, a very easy production and an even easier vanish. Here's the vanish. This is similar to the French drop, the Le Tourniquet. Instead of holding the coin by the edges in spellbound position the way I talked about earlier, you're holding the coin by the same fingers by the sides rather than the edges. Rather than the thumb remaining in place as it does with the French drop, the thumb will concentrate on hitchhiking outward as the hand flattens, like so. The hand flattens, the thumb hitchhikes outward. So the question is, what keeps the coin from being seen? All you have to do is use the same angles you would use if you were doing Down's palm. The concept here is that you want to keep the object that you're trying to conceal hidden from your spectator's line of sight by placing an object, in this case flesh, between the two. So by keeping flesh between the two objects, it'll keep it from being seen. The same concept is true here. Just by placing a little bit of flesh, just by curling those fingertips in, just enough to keep it outside of their line of view. So like if I had a laser pointer pointing from the top edge of this coin directly towards the camera lens or directly towards the camera lens, just by curling the fingers in, just enough to keep you from seeing the coin, still creates the illusion of an empty hand for all of a few seconds. Because when you cause this coin to vanish, your audience is instinctively going to ask, where did the coin go? And with this type of vanish, they only have to look up a couple of inches to find it. So what you want to do is you want to get rid of the heat on the hand here by answering that question before your audience has an opportunity to ask it. You do that by producing the coin at the crotch of the elbow, drawing attention away from what seems to be an empty hand. The timing is such by the time the coin hits the finger palm, this coin is produced. To produce this coin, remember you've got the coin in finger palm. You place your thumb on it, you extend all four fingers, you place the hand at the crotch of the elbow and just allow the coin to rest on the pad of the thumb. Now just by pulling the fingertips back, you expose the coin, then you turn the hand at the wrist to reveal it. So again, the timing is such that by the time the coin falls from here, this coin should be seen. From here to here. And notice how I'm opening the fingers. You can pull back if that's your preference, but I like to open and hold it with only the thumb and the index. It gets a much better display that way. And my thumb is almost completely on the coin, so it doesn't move at all. And I barely contact the coin with my index finger. That way you get the maximum display while having the maximum control over the coin. So from here to here. From the front, it looks like this. From this point, what you do it again. So it should look like this. From this point, what you do is you separate the hands and you perform the same sequence on the other side. You'll allow this coin to fall into the finger palm as you place your thumb on this coin and do the same sequence here. You separate the hands once more. You allow this coin to fall into finger palm. You'll produce this coin from finger palm. You'll turn the hand's palm down and you'll draw the coin to the hand holding out. So again, up to speed, that sequence exposed view should look like this. Now from this point, what I do is I place this coin to the fingertips of the hand holding out, and I can reach in, take the other two coins, and display. Now that's what I'll do if I want to stop there and give them their money back if I borrowed 3 coins, or if I'm ready to just conclude the routine, because it is modular. You can stop and end at any point you want. But if I feel that they're going to want to see more magic, they responded strongly to that, and they're still salivating, wanting to see more, what I'll do is after I've caused this coin to jump from place to place, I'll do a fingertip retention pass to show this coin, retaining this one. As I say, there's one. I place this coin into the hand in finger palm, and I'll pull out another coin. That way it looks like I'm pulling out all 3 coins. I've never had anyone ask me to see the pocket, whether I place it in my pants pocket, my suit pocket, or my jacket pocket. I've never had anyone ask to see if there are any coins there, because they've created conviction for themselves. It's a routine where they're seeing the hands empty throughout. Everything seems completely fair. There's no reason for them to think that there's an extra coin. And even the one phase where they had a question that maybe there is one, they created the conviction again for themselves that there wasn't any by doing that pan back and forth that we showed you earlier. So that is spectators' visible coins across. Now let's go on to the vanish sequence. at the conclusion of the spectator's visible coins across. You can end there. You ditch the coin. You can hand these 3 coins out for examination. And if your audience really wants to see more magic, you can continue. The way I like to do that is by having the 3 coins examined, or this could be the starting point, depending on the way you've structured your routine. You take the 3 coins back and you hold them in the same grip. Thumb, index, middle, top, middle, bottom. From this point, the first sequence, you're going to make it appear as if you're taking this coin and causing it to vanish. What actually happens is you're going to create not only a visual retention of vision, but you'll create an auditory illusion as well. It will not only look, but will sound as if you've taken a coin into the other hand before it vanishes. Now, the way this works is you're going to pull that uppermost coin down at a diagonal towards the palm of the hand, the way we did in the earlier routine. The difference is that instead of just causing this coin to vanish, you're creating the illusion that you're flattening the fan to grab that coin to hold it here, like so. In reality, what happens, the back of the hand faces your audience. As you flatten the 3 coins, bringing them into a horizontal position, your index finger goes underneath, your thumb comes on top as if it was going to grab the coin, but then you slide down and flatten or straighten out the 2 coin fan. So from here to here, from here to here. The thumb will continue as if it has the coin, and you end up in a position similar to what the way Slidini used to hold coins, to indicate that there was something there. So in this instance, you're simply placing your thumb behind your fingers. The problem that I see with a lot of magicians is that they keep that thumb up here, which doesn't really look like you're holding a coin. It looks like you're holding on to a thumb tip. So try not to do that. Keep the coin, keep the thumb behind so it looks like you might be holding on to something. All right? So from the front, it looks and sounds as if you're holding on to a coin here. Now, I'd like to take a moment to talk about conviction. There's an old adage that if you want them to believe what you're going to do, you have to believe it yourself, which means that you have to have an internal dialogue. You have to understand pantomime, even to a small degree, so that you can create the illusion of whatever the illusion is you're trying to create. In this instance, what you want to avoid is that. Because what that does is it draws all of the attention back to this 2 coin fan. And the reason it draws their attention back is because there was no magic. There was only a technique. If that doesn't make sense, I'll explain it a little bit more. What I mean by that is, watch me perform it this way, and then I'll explain. There were several different layers of deception that caused the apparent or the apparent vanish of that coin. The first is the technique. That's the move. But for most people, that's where it ends. Now all they do is say, okay, now the coin is supposed to be gone, show it gone. You have to have an internal dialogue. You have to understand the actions you're trying to say. What you're trying to communicate to your audience is that a coin held at the fingertips or held in the hand, you're going to crumble that piece of solid silver down into absolutely nothing, cause it to become invisible, and hang it in the air. That takes effort. Hell, even Harry Potter has to say a spell. So you have to create some type of a magic moment that causes this to happen. So what you want to do is pretend to hold the coin at the fingertips. Pantomime. And even if you have to place the coin there, and think about the way you hold the coin. Because if I ever see anybody do this as if they're holding on to a $50, you get a punch in the face from me. Because that doesn't look like you're holding on to a coin. There's no way that you can hold anything other than your fingers in this position. All right. So now I wouldn't really. Well, I might, but I probably won't punch you. So what's going to happen is. So you're holding a coin at the fingertips. You place it into the hand. You pretend to squeeze the coin down into nothing. And as you massage the coin, the fingers are going to slowly compress. They squeeze in until it gets to the point where you're going to pretend to hold the coin back at the fingertips again. And your audience won't believe that the coin is gone until you open every finger. Take your time with it. You have the secret knowledge that your audience has no idea what's about to happen. So really use that knowledge against your audience. They believe, because they see 2 coins here, that you're holding on to one until you give them a reason to think otherwise. So the longer you have time misdirection to create the conviction that that coin is there, you're golden. So think about that, not only with this routine, not only with this particular vanish, but with all of your magic. All right, I'm gonna step off my soapbox now. So getting back into the routine, you've crumbled this coin down into nothing. You're holding it at that one's hanging in the air. So from your audience's point of view, you've got 2 coins at the fingertips. From your standpoint, you still have the 1 coin hidden behind. From this point, you're going to do a very unique vanish. And I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. I used to study a guy named John Ramsay. He's a Scottish magician. And what he would do is he would hold a coin at the fingertips and he would rotate the coin, squeeze it, cause it to vanish. The technique that he used, because he had such small hands, was a thing called the revolve vanish, meaning he would cover the coin, he would place his thumb on the coin, and as he curled the thumb in, it would cause the coin to rotate because he had pressure being built up between the thumb, the index, and the middle finger. It would cause that coin to rotate and go directly into his finger palm. Now, what we're going to do is do that exact vanish with the lowermost coin of the 2-coin fan. The way that looks is you're going to cover only the lowermost coin of the 2-coin fan. Your thumb will contact that lowermost coin, and you're going to push it in, causing everything to rotate. Still leaving 1 coin visible at the fingertips, but now you're in the unique situation where you're sandwiching 1 coin right between the 2 coins that have already vanished. Up to speed, it should just look as if you're taking 1 coin, causing it to vanish. Now, what you missed in the studio performance that you saw in the live performance is when I caused this 2nd coin to vanish, another very unique moment happened. As I squeeze this coin down into nothingness and go to hang it in the air, I'm going to pantomime accidentally dropping the coin, noticing that it's falling, recovering the coin, and then hanging it in the air again, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. But the hilarity of this situation elicits a response from your audience. That response is a release of tension, and that release comes in the form of a giggle. When I catch the coin and hang it in the air, the audience relaxes and they look like that was stupid, is pretty much what they're saying internally, but they're laughing at it. And it's a great thing. And the reason I say it's a great thing is because it does 2 things. A, it allows the audience to take a break and relax. But that giggle also sets me up with enough sound misdirection between the giggle and them talking amongst themselves to allow me to place all 3 of these coins directly into nowhere palm. The way that works is as they're giggling, I've hung this coin in the air. I'm going to place my thumb on the edge of the 2 coins that have vanished. I'm going to place my ring finger on the edge of the coin that has not. And I'm going to squeeze all 3 coins together as close to silently as I can. Curl the ring finger around the coins, close the fingers, and then I bring the hand up here as if it may be holding on to something. I point to an area in space off to the middle, and now I engage into the nowhere palm by opening the fingers. Now, the way this works is you have to rely on the natural lay of the hand. When the hand is at rest, you'll notice how the pinky finger curls in the most. The extended index finger is open the most. That's the natural lay of the hand. When the hand is at rest, that's the case. Now, the actions that I'm communicating to my audience is that I have a coin at the fingertips and I want to hang it in the air. Notice where the hand naturally lays as I open the hand. The pinky is curled in the most. The index finger is almost completely extended. Another way that would be acceptable is if all 4 fingers were curled. It feels almost like a claw, but that is also very acceptable to an audience. Now, what that means for us is that we're in a situation where we have these 3 coins in the nowhere palm. You'll notice that the pinky finger is curled the most, the index finger extended the most. All right? Again, it's also very acceptable to have all 4 fingers curled in slightly, which again from the front would look just like this. So there's this version, there's that version. Either way, again, are perfectly acceptable to an audience. Now, a lot of people think, especially when you're performing at a table, that your audience is likely to see the coins because there's only one finger keeping these coins from view and they're all the way out, so far away from the body. The truth of the matter is that as long as you keep these 3 coins parallel to the floor and to the ceiling, and you keep the coins below the top of your spectator's head and above the bottom of their sternum, there's no way for the coins to flash at all to anyone within this range, within these parameters. Now, if I was to tilt the coins towards you, you'll see them. If I tilt them away from you, you'll see the coins. If I tilt to the side, people on the sides would see it. But as long as I keep those perfectly flat, that ring finger is more than enough to keep these coins from being seen from any of those angles. So, from this point, the coins hang in the air, and I drop the hand. I then transfer the coins from the nowhere palm up into finger palm. That way I can grab 1, 2, 3, and I simply place them into the pocket. And that ends up being the end of the routine. Now that's the end of the first version. There are so many changes that have happened over the years that make 2.0 even better than this. But I do want you to know that this is the way I performed the routine for years before I added any change. The changes happened again because my audience, their eyes have told me things that needed to be altered. I've had suggestions from other magicians, and I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you about 2.0 right now. Nice to meet you. I'm Eric. Can I get you to do me a favor? Check those coins out. Make sure they are exactly what they seem to be. Yep, they really are.
Mm-hmm. Kind of heavy too.
Now, when you see a magician, the first thing people do is they accuse you of using sleeves. You notice I'm not really wearing sleeves. There's nothing under the watch. There's nothing under the bracelet. Just 3 pieces of silver. All right? What I want you to do is watch the coins as they travel from the fingertips here to the fingertips here without you seeing it go. That's the first one.
That was nice.
You want to see it again?
Yeah.
Here, you hold on to that one for a second. You just leave your hand palm up for a second. Now keep your eyes on this one. Because you know where the coin is, you also know where the coin is going to go. I'm going to do it in slow motion so you can see the moment. The second, the very instant the next one flies from your left to your right. I'm going to try it again. Now this one is my favorite because it travels in really weird ways. For instance, it can go up the arm or it can go down the fingers. And if I'm lucky, here, just close your hand around those. Nice and tight. Right about here. And if you watch, you'll see the coin as it goes from here to here to here and back. And if I'm really slick, I can get it to jump into your hands.
Wow. I didn't feel it.
Thank you.
I felt him drop 2 in my hand.
So now it's time to talk about the updated handling to Mirage Etoile that I call 2.0. The most significant changes that you saw in the performances happen at the tail end of the 2 phases. At the very end of the spectator's visible coins across and at the tail end of KKK, or the 3 clan vanish. A suggestion came in from a magician a few years ago, a good buddy of mine. He says, well, what if you could do it into the spectator's hands? And I never really considered that. And I started exploring a bunch of different ending rhythms. He gave a suggestion using an expanded shell, but I didn't want to add a gimmick when I thought I could do it with the 1 extra coin. I have another published routine called audio. And in audio, I'm able to be 1 ahead and 1 behind all at the same time. So that, between that suggestion from another magician, a magician buddy, and the 1 ahead and the 1 behind principle all being used at the same time in a routine, that was the catalyst to what you're about to see in version 2 of the spectator's visible coins across. So just as before, you show the 3 coins, 1 goes across. Now, instead of placing that into a pocket, would you mind? I'm going to place this into a spectator's hand. I'm going to leave that right here. Thank you so much. Same thing is true for the second. You do your shuttle over, You go into the JW grip, you do the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. One coin goes across. This coin goes on top of the spectator's first coin. So they have two coins that are sitting just like this. Now I'll do the arm roll. I'll do the coin roll. And while I'm displaying this coin, I'm going to place my thumb on the very edge of the coin closest to myself. And as I make eye contact with my spectator, I'll ask him to close his hand around these coins, leaving the coin on the hand, and then I'll come forward and ask him to close his hand around them. That way, neither he or anyone around him can see that he has 3 coins sitting on the palm of his hand. So again, I do the arm roll, I do the steeplechase, I show this coin, and I ask you to just close your hand around those coins. It's a very casual thing. You don't want to make this mistake. You don't want to accost your spectators by doing this. You don't want to accost your spectators by placing the coins here, closing, turning them over, and doing that. That's really aggressive, and it creates suspicion. You never want to create the suspicion that you don't want them to see what's inside of their hand. Everything up until that point had been completely fair and open. You want to keep that theme going. So I say, would you mind just closing your hand around the coins? And you making eye contact means to them that there's nothing weird happening. Plus, keep in mind that the sequence, the arm roll, the coin roll are both designed to keep their attention on the one coin that's being displayed. And because they can see that one coin here, when you tap the hand and have them close their hand around the coins, it's not above suspicion. Above suspicion? Yeah, that's the right way to say that. So they've got their hand closed. Now I drop this coin into the other hand, again showing the hand's empty. And now I'm going to do a modified version. And you can drop the hand for just a moment if you don't mind. I'm going to do a modified version of the final sequence from Mirage et Trois. Now the cool thing about this is you don't have to use the extra coin, and you can get the exact same effect by being one behind, even though you're one ahead in the spectator's hand. It looks like this. Watch the coin as it jumps from here to here to here. The timing is exactly the same, but they get to see half the magic, but it still has the whole effect. I start by doing a retention vanish. Now you can do this type of a retention vanish, but I think it takes too much time to focus in on a hand, framing it here, and then close your hand around it. I want it to be more casual, as if I'm tossing the coin into the other hand. So what I do in that instance is I'm going to use the fingertip retention pass that I learned from Michael Gallo. The way that works is I'm going to show the hand this way, as if I'm pushing the coin over. The other fingertips are going to come so that you can see the coin between the fingers. The second my index finger contacts the fingertips here, the fingers close. And from the back, what happens is I'm going to reach back, pull this coin into finger palm, and then come away. So it looks like this. I add a bit of flair by showing the back of the coin and then the front of the coin before it goes into the hand. And if I add an extra little beat, as if I actually have the coin, that creates an extra little bit of conviction. Now from this point, I pretend to put my thumb on the coin, even though there's nothing there. I'll extend my arm out in front of me. I've got the coin and finger palm here, and I'm going to perform the same actions that you learned in the first, only it's easier now because you only have the one coin. So as I open this hand, I can now pull the fingers back to expose this coin. Again, it just rests on the pad of the thumb, pull back and expose the coin, separate the hands. Now, I don't have a coin here, so I'm just going to pretend to grab a coin from here as this coin vanishes, the exact same timing. Separate the hands once more. You open this hand and then produce this coin, which creates the illusion that the coin has traveled 3 times. So up to speed once more. Here's the coin. 1, 2, 3. Now from this point, you can do any vanish that you want to cause this coin to jump from here into the spectator's closed hand. The one that I opt to do is something that I published in a routine called the Impossible Coins Across, as a way to perform a seemingly complete vanish in a stand-up position. It looks like this. And you get 3 coins. Thank you so much, Dennis. I don't need those anymore. So for the last coin, all you have to do is hold the coin at the fingertips. You're going to place the coin against the palm of the hand. You curl the fingers around the coin, and the second the coin is covered here, your middle finger is going to extend, slide the coin down the thumb and into an open classic palm position as both hands turn palm up. You're going to open the hand's pinky to index finger to show the hand's empty. This hand will be seen empty. This hand will be implied empty. To keep the coin from being seen, you tilt the coin towards yourself. So instead of palm towards the audience, palm towards yourself. Not so much that the coin will slide, but just enough so that the coin isn't seen. So just by placing this flesh, the flesh of the web between the fingers, between you and your audience's point of view, just like so. So it looks like an empty hand. So up to speed one more time. It looks like that. Now, the really cool thing is that there's no tension in the shoulders. There's no tension in the hand. You're not classic palming or squeezing anything that would give away that there's a coin in this hand. So when I perform this for people, it really creates the illusion, the feel of a complete vanish. So once you've caused the vanish to happen, you then point to the hand, allow your spectator to open the hand. They'll see the 3 coins. While they're reacting to that, you simply place this coin into your pocket and you're done. That is the updated version of Mirage et Toi 2.0, just for the spectators visible across version. Now let's talk about how we've changed the 3K, or the 3 clan vanish, or KKK. I don't like saying KKK for obvious reasons. So just like in Spectators Visible Coins Across, the majority of the routine stays the same with the exception of the end, and the end makes it a lot stronger in my opinion. Now, you're still going to cause the first, the second, and again the third coin to vanish. But what I found is that holding out was not the best way to conclude the routine, because it makes you say to yourself, where do you go from there? Now, I'll show you what I came up with before I came up with what I'm about to show you. I started playing with the idea of doing this hand wash. And what that does is it allows me to have 3 coins in my finger palm. I pull back so that you can see it empty hand. And as I place the hands together, I transfer the coins to the other hand and into the finger palm. That way, when I place this hand into the pocket, it already had been seen empty. That way I can gesture with the other hand. So again, I would show this hand empty, talk a little bit, do the gesture, and then place this hand into the pocket softly, placing all 3 coins together, nice and tight at the bottom of the pocket so that they don't jingle, regardless of whether you're wearing jeans or if you're wearing slacks. That way I can continue the routine without any trouble. But I didn't like that. And more often than not, eventually I'd be animated, you'd hear the clink, and people were like, that's where the coins went, even if they didn't say it outright. You could see their eyes go towards the pocket and then make that nudge, nudge, wink, wink to a colleague or a friend sitting at the same table. And in my opinion, at that point, you've been caught out. So I elected to bring the coins back from the ether. I'd already communicated the actions of hanging the 3 coins in the air. Why not either take them back individually or all at once? So I played with both ending rhythms. I came up with a technique for both, and what you're about to see now is the one that my audiences, both laymen and magicians, seem to respond to the strongest. So at the ending sequence, you've caused all 3 coins to vanish. Now this hand is seen empty. This hand was just implied to be empty because your audience is able to see between the fingers, the palm and the back of the hand. So it really appears as if there's nothing here, right? So once you're in that position, I'm going to use this hand almost as if by using finger palm to point to the 3 areas where the coins were then hung. From that point, I engage back into the nowhere palm and I communicate the actions of scooping the coins out of the air. In reality, what happens is from nowhere palm, the coins fall into finger palm, making a clink in the hand as the hand closes. It's difficult to do in slow motion. But again, from here to here. And then I allow the coins to cascade into the other hand. And if they're their coins, I give them back out for examination. If not, I put them back in my damn pocket. And that's the end of the routine. Now, the way the original routine was set up is you were showing your hands empty, you produce the 3 coins, you do the coins across, then you cause the coins to vanish. I've been thinking about that over the years, and I've streamlined the routine so that it only has 2 phases. The main routine has just the 3 fly, just the vanish. Now, the reason for that is because when I find myself out in the real world, I don't carry 4 coins on me. I've become more of a minimalist as the years have gone by. So I usually only carry 1/4 with me, sometimes not even that. So the structure changes depending on what you have on you. So if I'm in a situation where someone says, can you do a trick? I say, hey, do you have 75 cents? I ask them if they have 3/4. If they give me the 3/4, I just reach into my pocket, I pull out the quarter that I already have there, I go directly into the 3 fly phase. While I give the 3 coins to someone else to examine to make sure that they're real, I'll ditch that 4th coin. So I'm back to my 3, and then from that point, I'll do the KKK, the 3 clan vanish. I'll make all 3 coins completely vanish. I'll show the 3 coins, I'll scoop them out of the air, and then give them their coins back. That way we begin and end in the same position that we started in. What that does is it creates a lasting moment, and I've seen people hold on to the coins in disbelief, as if these, either I've switched the coins out in some kind of way, or perhaps something magical. Maybe these coins have some magic residue on them that they're looking for. It's a really nice moment. Another thing that I'll say is you can start by pulling the 3 coins out. You can cause the coins to vanish, scoop them out, have them examined. While they're examining, you can reach into your pocket, pull out the extra coin, and as you take them back, go into the 3 fly phase. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You can do whatever works for you. But like I said, what I've been doing more often than not is just borrowing 75 cents, going into the routine, and then handing them their money back. But it depends on your working conditions. So if you're on the street, do it with quarters. If you're going to do it with $half, do the 3 fly, do the vanish, then give the money out for examination. Hey guys, so that's Mirage Etoile 2.0. I hope you've enjoyed it. For those of you who are familiar with the old routine, I'm sure you can see all of the new pieces and how they play in with the old routine to make something new and great. For those who had never seen the routine before, I really hope you take the time to dissect the routine for its individual components and find ways to make it your own. Even if you only do pieces of the routine in your own routines, I think you're going to find that they play very well for lay audiences as well as for magicians. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can shoot me an email at eric@lostartmagic.com. I'll be happy to entertain those. And if you send me videos of you doing the routine, I'll be happy to post them on our social media as well. Really, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to view this project. And please take a look at other projects that we have at lostartmagic.com. We're a growing business and we're working very hard to bring you the very best in magic. Thank you so much. Have a good one.